Hey everyone, I am your astrologer, Wonder Girl, taking you to new heights. Here's your daily forecast for the day of Monday, April 2nd, 2018. Now what we've got going on today, Moon hanging out here in Scorpio, bringing our attention, of course, to some deep emotions that it is that we may have hidden beneath the surface about how we really feel about life and about what we really want. Can also bring up some changes that we need to make in life in some way in order to live a life that is better suited for us. Also, as well, spending money, going out, financial investments, and our deep, intimate relationships, either business partnerships, financial relationships with people, or intimate, more sexual relationships. So that's kind of what we think about when the moon is in Scorpio. Now yesterday and today we had this moon in Scorpio in an opposition to Venus and Taurus. So we may have had some intense feelings that came up about our life, some changes that it is that we want to make that were making it hard for us to find the stability that it is that we wanted in life. Really having to learn last night, sure, how to feel things, feel deep feelings, maybe that weren't the most comfortable, make changes in life, but to try to build more of that stability and underneath these changes so that we're not up in the air all the time. Also needing to learn as well with Venus and Taurus how to be more confident with our life, with who we are, with what we're feeling, and with how we are changing our life so that we can move forward just in a better way, all right? The idea being you can't keep changing your life all the time and you can't keep having some deep uncomfortable feelings coming in. It's okay if you feel those things, but needing to figure out how to be more comfortable, how to be more confident in your life and stop changing things so much, okay? So that's what I think was going on last night into today. Then we get to today at 7 a.m. Mountain Time. We get the moon hanging out in Scorpio, making a sextile over here to both Mars and Saturn, which are conjunct in Capricorn. Okay, so what I think that's bringing is any intense feelings that maybe that it is that you had, or any changes in life that you were thinking about making or working deeply and more intimately with people, was then helping you to create more of the life that it is that you really want, to move your life in the right direction, to increase your social standing or your reputation, okay, coming in. So even though maybe some intense feelings were coming up and we need to learn how to balance our feelings, how to stabilize things, I think these feelings were really helping us to figure out what we need to do next to feel better about our life, put it in a better place, and to start to build on and create more of a life that really resonates with us, all right, happening at 7 a.m. Then quite a few hours later at 5 p.m., the nighttime, mountain time, the moon then moves further through Scorpio and comes into a square with the nodes. All right, and whenever a planet's in the square with the nodes, that to me makes that planet extremely important, you know, needing to focus on it, the focal point, all right, saying, especially as we move throughout the day, that focusing on your deep feelings, focusing on any changes that it is that you need to make, on discovering what's going on with you, figuring out what's going on with vulnerability, being vulnerable with your relationships with other people, really being important, really being the key, the missing piece, in order for you to be happier, to move forward, to progress, to do some things that you need that not only can put your life in a better place, but make you enjoy that life that you're creating. All right, so I see that just being a big thing today is really needing to go inside yourself deeply, to uncover your deep emotions, to figure out what's going on, and to address them in a stable way so that you can start to be happier doing some things that it is that you need. Then after that happens, 8 p.m. Mountain Time, the moon comes out of the square of the nodes, more or less, it's kind of close still, and makes a trine over to Neptune. And this trine to Neptune is saying you paying attention to your feelings, to what's going on inside you, to being vulnerable, to going deep, is then helping you to find more of that peace inside that it is that you want. Is helping you to process things internally, is helping you to be more whole, and is helping you to overcome some things from the past, of course, with Neptune, with Pisces, so that you can start to move forward, all right, being a very good thing, okay? Then after that happens, This actually isn't going to happen until tomorrow, 8 a.m., but I'll give you a little preview. Then after that happens, the moon is going to sextile Pluto and make a conjunction to Jupiter, both of which are very good things, I think, helping you tomorrow morning to understand what you're feeling, to understand what changes you need to make, why you need to make changes, and starting to feel much better, more powerful now that you've addressed some deep things, moving forward, putting your life in a better spot, okay? So that's what I see going on today. To be honest with you, I don't think today is going to be too bad of a day. I mean, most of the aspects are positive, sextiles and trines, except for the square to the nodes, which I think behaves a little bit differently than a normal square. So I don't see it being too bad. I think the worst thing about today is the moon being in Scorpio, bringing up some intense things. And I think if you can really deal with that, deal with your feelings, sit through some stuff in relationships, maybe it's hard stuff you're going through, hard stuff other people are going through. And if you can hang tight through all of that, Scorpio being a fixed sign, also being a water sign, hang through some of these emotions, to not be afraid to face them, I think in the end you're going to find that dealing with these things is going to help you to understand better who you are, what you need emotionally, to feel more whole, to finally start to feel like, okay, I'm getting more of a hang of things, I'm understanding, putting your life in a better spot, all right? So I don't see it being too bad. It's just allowing yourself to be vulnerable, to not be scared, to not be afraid if things come up that maybe don't feel the best, all right? Because these feelings are there to help you understand where you need to go next, who you really are, what's really going on inside you, and to start to get a handle on them and use them to your advantage to create a better life, all right? So that's what I'm going to say there. Now, stuff going on in the background, what we have. Mars in a conjunction with Saturn, which I did talk about because the moon is triggering this spot today. But I think there's a lot going on. We really want to make some effort to put our life in the right place, to create a life that we really like, to do things in a really big way, to build a life that can really last, that can move forward with us, that can give us the life we've wanted, you know, just all around with this Saturn and Mars thing coming in. And I think we've got a lot of pressure to create a life that's better for us. I think we really want to do it in some way coming in. Okay, with that, I personally, I don't know, a lot of people may say that that's a bad thing, the Saturn-Mars conjunction. I personally like it. Saturn's at home in Capricorn, and, you know, Mars is exalted in Capricorn. They're together, you know, and both of them are in spots that they like to be in, you know, so I personally think this is a good thing, giving us the power to manifest a life that it is that we really want, and to make it happen, and to play the long game, long term, to do what needs to be done. The problem with this alignment though right now that could make it harder is that it's coming into a square with Mercury, and it was with the Sun last week. So Mercury is going to be in the same spot the Sun was last week, having us rehash some things about our identity, about how we do things, about who we are coming in. But I think that's what's making it hard here, is we're really trying to build something with this Saturn and Mars. I think this Saturn and Mars giving us a real boost, really helping us to build some things, but it's just our identity. It's almost like we're getting in our own way coming in. Like, there are good things coming around. Saturn and Mars is, I think it's positive, it's helping you do the things that you want, but right now we have a lot of questions about who we are, how we do things, what's important to us. Now that so much has changed, and I think that's what's making it hard for us to create the life that we want. Like, how can you create a life that you want if you don't even know who you really are, you know? And so I think, or who you like are becoming. And so I think that's the difficulty right now going on that's making Saturn and Mars harder than I think it really is or should be, all right? And really needing to figure out, with Mercury in a conjunction with the Sun, who you are, what you want, what's important to you. How you want to do things moving forward. And I think once this gets resolved, building something we really like is going to get easier. All right, with this Mercury Sun conjunction, it's also making a trine over here to the North Node in Leo. So not only are we trying to figure out who we are, but we're also trying to figure out what makes us happy and how we can move forward on that. All right, and I think that's preventing us from building a life because we don't know what makes us happy, or we're trying to figure things out, or we don't know who we are. And because these two things are kind of quincunxing, you know, building something, you know, putting in the work doesn't make us happy because we have to work and we can't play. And so I think it's just a lot of that stuff going on right now. That's like, okay, figure out who you are, what you want, and what makes you happy. And then once you get that, Don't be afraid to put in the work and to sacrifice some play and some fun so that you can build the life that you want, but needing to figure out, I think, coming in who you are first, with Mercury going retrograde, that being a harder thing to me altogether, needing to figure out first what you want and who you are before you can feel better building it and before you can figure out how to put your like desire for play aside to start to get to work. All right, so that's just like an interesting thing that's going on there. The other thing that I want to mention, Jupiter coming into a trine with Pluto this week, sorry, a sextile, excuse me, with Pluto this week. Again, really giving us a chance to change our life for the better, change where we saw our life going. Again, with the moon triggering this spot, deal with some deep emotions so that we can move forward, all right, and make sense of our life in a better way and everything that's been going on. But I think before we can start to feel this like Jupiter, Pluto, like changing our life for the better, understanding our life, understanding what's going on, us first needing to deal with the Mars, Saturn, square, Mercury, Sun, quincunx the North Node. Really needing to figure out before that you start to feel that who you are, where you see your life going, how you want to move forward on it, what makes you happy, okay? And then once you figure that out, then you're going to have to make sure and deal with the North Node here, having to sacrifice some pleasure for work, to do things. But I think it's really hard to put our pleasures behind us to do the work if we're not quite sure of like who we are and how we're doing it to begin with. So I think it's just a lot of that stuff that we're just trying to figure out this week that's going to come into more focus. Coming on with your weeklies, especially where I talk about some of this stuff. Okay, which is going to be kind of similar. Your weeklies are actually going to kind of be similar to last week because the sun was in this spot last week moving forward, and now Mercury is going back in the same spot where the sun was. So bringing up, again, some of the same issues we were dealing with last week, but again, having to process them mentally and maybe process them verbally with other people, okay, to understand them better logically than otherwise. All right. So that's what's going on there. Now for your card for the day is the Hermit reversed. This is interesting. Normally when I see the Hermit upright, it's a card of spending time alone. You know, it's like the Hermit. So a card of spirituality, listening to your inner voice. And maybe what's going on here is that you're letting like outside thoughts cloud your judgment when it's reversed. I haven't really thought of this card reversed too much. Letting outside thoughts cloud your judgment, maybe not spending the time alone that it is that you need with this card. Yeah, not taking the time to listen to what's going on inside you, to find your own guiding light, your own guiding star, with the Hermit kind of like holding a lamp with like a star in it, you know? So maybe that's what's going on this week, a need to quiet the voices going on outside of you to figure out what's going on inside, to find out what you need spiritually. Maybe that's what will help you. I mean, especially with the moon in Scorpio, I mean, this is definitely like a very intimate, like deep kind of energy coming in with the moon here. You know, it's not necessarily a time to be out about socializing. I mean, I wouldn't think of that just looking from the astrology right now, but definitely a time to go inward, to figure out what you're feeling with the trine to Neptune too. And if you are working with people, I think to work with people one-on-one, you know, it's not like a time to broadcast your stuff, but a time to either process it alone or to have one friend, two friends that you're close to say, look, like, can I pull you aside? Like, this is what's going on, or to deal with issues with people that are like really close to you, okay? And I think if you can take the time either to yourself, away from everyone, or take the time with one or two people in your life that you're intimate with to discuss vulnerable matters, private matters, in a way that can help you get in touch with what you're really feeling. I think in the end that's going to help you start to feel better about what's going on, find your guiding light, find your inner star, and move in that direction, okay? So that's what I got for you today. Thank you so much for watching my horoscope. If you like it, please like it on YouTube, subscribe to my channel, share it with your friends, and I will talk to you later.